Is Dr. Lisa. Launch your income. Come on in, friends. We're going to get started in just a second. Thank you so much for joining. We're talking all things going live and being confident as a live host. Thank you so much, friends. We are getting started now. Thank you for joining the live. I appreciate all the support. We're going to get started in just a few seconds. You guys know I co-stream, so I always got to get my screens moving and shaking. So I want to make sure I am setting things up, friends, and we're going to be as proactive as possible. So let's see, friends. Thank you so much for being here, and all of you who have joined the live from this morning. And if you are coming back for some more conversation, I so appreciate you all. So this is my go live, and I appreciate you all joining. So this is my go live, and we're talking about confidence and ease. So I usually set it up to say, let's go live with confidence. And so what I'm saying now is confident live host setup. Okay. So just know, as a live host, you want to make sure your setup is correct, how you are talking to your community. You want to make sure everything is all good. Appreciate you all joining. I saw some messages come in, so I'm gonna have to respond to my a little later to some people coming in and chatting with me, texting with me. But thank you so much, friends. So we're gonna get started in a few seconds, and so this is my go live confidence live host setup edition. Okay, so a couple things I talk about here is, first of all, getting over the nervousness, the fear of doing this. Okay, so a lot of what we're going to talk about is just tips and strategies just to make sure when you think about going live as a live host, you want to be intentional about, okay, what are some of the things you need to do if you're scared to hit the live host, the go live button. Okay, you want to make sure you have the right setup. Okay, so I'm gonna walk you through a couple things, a couple things I say to do. Hello, friend. Welcome to the live. Go ahead and say hello so I know you're in the room. A couple things I talk about in terms of setting up and being confident in essentially with clicking that go live button. There's a couple things I want you to do in advance. So we're going to talk through that. I think it's important to know how you are going, what you're going to say essentially, because I think that's key. But then after that, how do you get engagement? How do you get people to communicate? Now, I'll tell you this, YouTube's a little different. You guys know y'all over here, y'all listening and lurking and not saying anything. So I'm going to tell you all, go ahead and click the live button. I want you to comment, hello, hi, Dr. Lisa, how you doing? Whatever you want to say, make sure you put something that's relevant to the live. Tell me where you're from. Shout outs, please. Appreciate you, friend. And then also, if you have not subscribed, click that subscriber button so you can get some more notifications of when I go live. I go live at 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. Eastern every day. So I'm here for you. So I want you guys to feel confident in doing this. So definitely comment. Make sure you subscribe. And then, like I said, you got to hit that like button as well. And then as you guys are commenting, TikTok and YouTube, I'm going to go to TikTok in a second, but in YouTube, they know that you're present, you're active, you're engaging. And guess what? I'm going to put it out there. If you are a small channel, a small content creator, it's going to help your channel as well, because YouTube is paying attention to your engagement, your interactions, and that also supports you. Good afternoon, launch your. I have subscribed from Southport, England. You are married. You wear rings on your finger. You know what? I'm not today because when I work out, I don't put them on, but I am happily married. But I won't. Make sure we stay relevant, George. I appreciate you, George, from Southport, England. Thank you so much for joining in, friend. And it's Dr. Lisa. You put launch your income, launch your. But George, thank you for being here. So go ahead and make sure you like the live, and I appreciate the comment too. So continue to keep commenting, continue to click the hearts to say that you are liking what you're experiencing, and that helps with your algorithm and helps with my algorithm. That's what this is all about. We are building community, friends. So we're going to continue to do that, and then let me know if you have questions. What do you think being a good person means? Appreciate you. Friend, let's stay on topic. Good person is a person who is engaging. Okay, so you want to engage as much as possible, but relevant. So we're talking about being a confident live host. So as you are going live, friends, we're going to talk about how do you build community, but also how do you leverage this opportunity this time with your community to also support them both here by adding value and beyond. Okay. Thank you so much, friends. Appreciate you all being here. Dylan, thank you so much. Make sure you are of age, friend, because I'm clearly of age. So, yeah, so this is a professional page. We're going to talk about making sure that you are engaging your community, but it is a professional page. On YouTube, you got to have at least 50 subscribers to go live. So just keep that in mind. And then I usually have my moderator. Her name is Yes Michelle Crochet. She will comment. She will actually put some of you all in timeout if you're not staying focused and on topic. So I want to make sure you guys are staying relevant. Okay. So when we talk about going live, I want to make sure you guys are able to do this. So we're going to walk through a few things. You guys, like I said, you know I co-stream. I'm about to share my live stream in just a few seconds with our YouTube community, our TikTok community, and then we're going to talk over there as well. That community, because the nature of the app has it where people are engaging, commenting, and they tend to stay on topic as well. Um, you get a little bit more engagement than what you do on YouTube. So just a pro tip, just know that it's important that you leverage both platforms. And if you want the best engagement, you're probably going to start off with TikTok to get more engagement. Whereas my friends here, you guys are chatting and commenting stuff that's not relevant. And so you get a lot of that here. So you got to just make sure that you just stay focused. And ultimately, we will get a community that is fully engaging and asking questions that are relevant. And then also making sure you guys click the like and subscribe as well. So that's the whole goal. You want to grow your channel. So I tell people all the time, if you guys are engaging here, I will go back and engage on your page and help you grow as well. So that's the whole point. And then when my moderator comes in, yes, Michelle Crochet, she will help in terms of building your channel out as well. So I'm going to continue to do this. This is something I do twice a day. It's a great way to start building up the channel and supporting people who are nervous about going live. And then if you click the link in my bio, you can also get additional support. I had someone today, which is awesome because I know some of my YouTube people are my TikTok people and vice versa. Some of my TikTok people will come over here to YouTube as well. So one of our friends here scheduled a one-on-one. So just know that that is an option as well if you want to schedule a one-on-one to talk about it's over Zoom to talk a little bit more about your content creation as well as becoming a live host in addition to your monetization strategy. So we could talk through that as well. So there's a couple different services and resources I offer. So feel free to click that as well. How are you doing, friend? Thank you so much for saying hello. Appreciate it. Again, my friends, make sure you click like. So TikTok and YouTube, I'm sorry. So YouTube knows you're here. Cool. So YouTube knows you're here, as well as if you have not clicked subscribe, go ahead and subscribe as well. Thank you so much, friend. Thank you for the shout outs. Okay, so let's stay focused and relevant. I am about to go onto the TikTok streets with you all as well. How you doing, Pink Marshmallow? And again, friends, make sure you are of age. You know, the way YouTube will send notifications, there's so many of you who will come in and connect with me. So feel free to put comments, but let's stay relevant. And so as you guys start asking questions, I can answer questions fully, okay? Hello, hello, how you doing, G Baby and my friend Algrima. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate all the support. So appreciate the hellos. And then, like I said, make sure you hit the like. And if you are new to my channel, make sure you subscribe. And then set the bell so you get notifications. I go live twice a day, 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. Eastern. And so what we're talking about today is you're so beautiful you are. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Hey, 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 hey. And so don't let me put you in time out. I don't want to have to put anybody in time out because I want to make sure we're having a very productive conversation. So this is a professional channel, and if my moderator is able to join us, she'll hop on too. And I'll have to be honest with you, she may put you guys in timeout if you're spamming the chat. So we want to make sure you guys are staying focused. Ask questions along the way. The topic today is the confident life host setup. So I want to make sure we are all focused. I'm nervous, but I'm getting okay, friend. We definitely gonna put you in timeout. So just know that a big piece of this is just staying focused. So I have access. I don't put people in timeout too often, but I have to sometimes. All right, friends. Thank you so much. This is the Go Live with Confidence Live Host Setup. Hello, friends. Thank you so much. It is Dr. Launch Your Income. We are here. We are going live. This is the live for all my friends who are nervous, scared, shy, afraid, introverted, all the things, and you're trying to figure out, should I have confidence when I go live, and how to have confidence as a live host. And we're going to talk about that setup, friends. So come on in. We're going to talk all things going live. So you guys know I'm Coach Stream, talking to my YouTube people as I start up my TikTok. How you doing, Save for Life? How are you, friend? How is your live host journey going? I appreciate you coming on in. Thank you so much, Patricia. Thank you for joining. So we're going to get started in a second. Let me know if you guys have questions. I'm just starting the live session. Sherry, how are you, friend? So I'm just starting the live host session. So let me know if you have questions. But this is my confident live host setup. So we're going to talk all things going live as a live host. Sharon, how are you, friend? Hey, how you doing, LP? Appreciate your friend. And so as we are going live, I want you all to feel at ease. Okay, we talk about this all the time. At ease with going live, and essentially a lot of it is just making sure you are prepared and understand what to expect as you're engaging, and then how do you start a live and continue to start for consistency's sake, continue to show up and be there for your community. So let me know if you guys, as you come in, let me know where you're from. Put that in the chat for me. Okay, put that in the chat. Let me know where you're from, as well as if you have gone live or you're a live host as well. I want to know what your topic, time, and time zone. We say that all the time. We want to make sure we are growing. This is our growth season. Thank you all for coming in. Thank you so much. I appreciate your friends. Appreciate all the compliments. Thank you so much. Thank you. Appreciate that. So we got, you guys hear me saying thank you because I'm talking to my YouTube friends that are showering me with compliments right now. I'm going to accept the compliments, y'all. So that's what's happening because you guys, I know I tell you all the time, I co-stream. I do this as an intentional strategy because how you doing, sassy girl? I do this as an intentional strategy because all I'm doing is taking my tablet. How you doing, original EMS? I take my tablet, and my tablet has YouTube on it, so I'm over there, essentially just turning on my YouTube channel. Same name, same channel, same name and username. Dr. Lisa Launch Your Income. It's at Launch Your Income. So I do that. How you doing, Luna? How you doing? Michelle, her merchant leadership. And so I do it as a way to start building up my channel so I don't gatekeep to you all. If you guys were really intentional about yo, how you doing? It was good seeing you today, friend. You can't say now, you can't say, Dr. Lisa, you ain't came by. I've come by, friend. So great topic as well. Thank you so much for doing having your live and supporting so many people. There's so many people that need to hear that leadership message. So that is awesome. Um, so what I do here, and I talk about the YouTube strategy on purpose because it really is a way for you to start participating there. Live access comes fairly low threshold is 50 subscribers. I'm doing well, friend. At 50 subscribers, and with those 50 subscribers, you can click the go live button. If you are going live here anyway, turn it on. Engage over there slight, for the most part, because you're on two different platforms. But the way I have it set up, you guys can see me in both platforms. And then essentially what I do is save this on YouTube as a playlist. So if I say something here and you're like, she said something, I want to go back and just, listen to that again, it's available to you. And so that becomes content for my YouTube channel. And I'm slowly building up my community over here with the thinking that YouTube is a long game. But the beauty of it is your content is evergreen. So, depending on how people are searching, remember we always talk about search engine optimization, how people are searching, they can search for your topic and come across your content. They come across playlists the same way they come across long or short form content. So just know it's out there with the right optimization to your channel. So I tell you guys that because I want you all to practice some of that stuff too. You say her merchant, you say she came, she gifted, she supported. There we go, friend. That's what it's all about. Yes, yes, ma'am. So I appreciate you. So yes, that's what I'm doing. On this channel, my friend, we are talking about confident live host setup. So we are talking about that, especially with this 4 o'clock. It's usually it's built for my people who, from a mindset perspective, that are still very nervous about even engaging. Nika, Grace, I saw you come in. Luna, I saw you come in. Thank you so much, friends. And so just knowing that if you're someone who's still nervous about pressing the go live button, what I'm doing here, how you doing, Linda? Um, Lydia, is that it? Lydia. Thank you so much. I want to make sure that you're being intentional about your setup because a lot of it is your setup. I mean, I'm just going to be honest with you. It's just being prepared. So people who are organizing themselves, thinking about how you're going to set up your live, that's going to be important if you put a little bit more thought into that in the beginning. So that way, when you're talking to your audience, I say in those beginning lives, you are communicating who you are, where you're from, sharing a little bit about yourself so that people know, um, again, your background, your story, and what brought you here. And so I did a little teaser. So some of my friends who are coming in now from the YT, they're asking questions about how are you, how you doing. Let me know how are you, and let me know where you're from as well. Um, I thought you weren't coming on. I thought an hour ago was an hour ago was for your time. Oh, the time changes. Yes. No. So where are you at now? Are you in Utah? Where are you at? I know you were Utah, Oregon. You were like all over. So where are you physically located? Encouraged. How are you, friend? How are you? I don't know if you stayed in the room. You might not have stayed, but I appreciate you stopping by. Idaho today, Oregon tomorrow. Okay. What's the time? What time? Now I'm confused. Is that Mountain Time Zone for both of those, or are we talking about um not Central? I don't think is Idaho Central. Idaho might be Central. I think Midwest, but it might be. How you doing, Brina? Thank you so much for coming back, friend. How's everything going? And so we were chatting it up. You said, I don't know. I don't know neither, friend. It's two here. Okay. That's that might be mountain. I think that's considered mountain time. 2 hours different for us. 1 hour behind for us is central. So you're another time behind that. So I think that's mountain. I think that's considered mountain. Yeah. I think that's it. I don't know. I didn't live in Idaho or Oregon. So you reference things based on geographical like landmarks or things you've traveled and visited. I don't think I've been to both actually. Now I say that for track and field. Thank you so much, friends. Appreciate you for being here. And so let me know if you guys have questions. So I'll see you all can Google exactly. Google will tell us. She Googled and says it's 2 o'clock, so she knew it was 2 o'clock. Maybe she didn't Google it. She probably just looked at a hotel alarm clock. Well, yes, that's probably what's happening. But what I was talking about for today is the confident live host setup. So I want you guys, so my friends who are in the room, if you are in my room, so we have a few people who are still my supporters, my friends who are still trying to figure this thing out. And then we have a few people in the room that are actually live hosts. Okay. And so what I want you to do, my new people who are in the room, when you're listening, you're like, okay, let me listen to this lady a little bit longer. Let me know if you're new. We're going to talk about engagement because I want you all to understand as viewers the importance of engaging, whether it's on the YT or the TikTok streets. You want to make sure you're an engager because that's going to help you as you said new. I'm going to cheer for you anyway. You're new to not going live though. I know you said you're going to get there, friend. With upcoming unknowns, learning your tube is important to explore. Hey, I'm going to tell you, friend. He said, I'm back. How you doing, Coach Miss Jessie? I'm going to tell you all, let me just say, because I'm doing this strategy on purpose because it really is, like I said, it's the long game. But it's a way to make sure you're really actively activating that place too. That's that area because it's going to be important. And you're right, it is part of my strategy to make sure you have multiple places you can go to. It's a pivot strategy. That's essentially what it is. And so if I need to pivot, if I'm gonna start telling people like, hey, I'm gonna be over here more, I'm gonna do lives and stuff, I can do that because I've established the platform. So I will tell you to do that. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Well, I see it's so different here. Yeah, it is. It is. It is very different. I don't attest to that. That is not a true. That is such a true statement. How you doing, Miss Darlene? Appreciate your friend. Thank you so much for the shares, Miss Darlene. Have you started incorporating going live on YouTube yet? Have you started that yet? Hey there, everybody. How you doing, friend? Because I know how many subscribers do you have now? Because I would imagine you're at 50 or plus, 50 plus. So let me know how's your YouTube journey going. Um, can agencies change their accounts and unblock themselves? What does that mean? Let me understand. Let's dissect that question. I'm not understanding. Thank you so much. Hello, friend. How you doing, Cindy? Appreciate you, friend. Um, let's see. Let's see. Let me go to your question. Can agencies change their accounts and unblock themselves? I don't know what that means. What do you mean? I guess I'm trying to understand. Just got home from doing my second pop up live. How was it? Where'd you go, friend? Um, let's see. I don't understand your question, Michelle. What do you mean by agencies um, unblocking themselves? Let's see. I'm not sure what that meant. Um, thank you so much. Hello, friends. Thank you so much. Okay, they keep being able to come into my live, and I see their accounts are no longer blocked. If they get another account, they weren't they wouldn't be blocked. Yeah, I have limited characters to communicate with. Okay, gotcha. Thank you so much, friend. Appreciate you. Yeah, TikTok gave us a flash code. Let's see if it's the Daily Heart Me. TikTok will Daily Heart Me. 10 of them. Oh, Daily Heart Me TikTok. That's fine, TikTok. I'm okay with it. So I guess that's the new pattern, huh? If I don't get it in the morning, I'm gonna get it in the afternoon. That's fine. If I don't get it in the afternoon, I'm gonna get it in the morning. So it's all good. Thank you all. I so I guess I'm trying to understand your question, Michelle. So you're saying basically agencies are coming into your live and you are blocking them. And then they come back again with a similar name, nickname, because the nickname could be same thing. It could be a different username, but it could be the exact same nickname. And because of that, they're unblocking themselves. I think that's what's happening. I think it's what Nika is saying. How you doing, Five Island? Thank you so much for coming back, friend. Um, I think that's what Nika is saying. So Shelf, thank you for coming in, friends. You all are coming in. Appreciate you joining the live. We have the flash goal going on now. TikTok gave us the Daily Heart Me. If you are not familiar with the Daily Heart Me, it's the heart plus next to my name. You want to click that, and that way you become part of the fan club. So I'm going to explain that more, especially for my new people in the room. If you are going to be a live host and a new live host, you want to understand the daily heart me. That's important for you and your strategy, your growth strategy, building community, all those things. So you want people to come in and get your daily heart me. TikTok will make it a flash goal like they did for me, in the sense that you guys have, as people come in, they're gonna within the next 15 minutes or so, they want people to click the Daily Heart Me and become fan club members. So just know that is a TikTok thing, not a Dr. Lisa thing. Thank you so much, friends. I appreciate you. So the flash goal is not, I can't pick the flash goal. TikTok picked it. But just know that that's there. Thank you so much, friend. Went downtown St. Paul at another community park. Oh, I love it. I saved it. You saved it. Thank you so much, friends. Y'all so kind. Y'all was like, Dr. Lisa, we know TikTok played with you. One person who called themselves an agency, and I said no. I blocked that specific name, and they came up. Yeah, I think that's what's happening. Um, Thank you all. Thank you, D's Beauty. Appreciate your friend. Jill, thank you for joining. Appreciate you as well. Yes, Nika, I paid attention and took screenshots, and they are unblocked again. Yeah, just what I will say, love your space. I appreciate your friend. What I will say, like I said, her merchant, it would be interesting to see. It would be very interesting to see if it's the same nickname to that point, but the username is slightly different. Maybe they're using, XYZ1, XYZ2. You know what I'm saying? So it's slightly different. When I had my imposters, that's essentially what they were doing to me, where they would take my username and put a number behind it or something like that. So it could be that they have multiple accounts. That could be the case as well. When it comes to unblocking, getting blocked from someone's live, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if that's the case. I don't know how that works. That's a great point, but I'm not sure if they have an ultimate power to unblock. So once I get into the inside, I'm gonna find out for you, friend. Once I get to the other side, once they let me peek behind the curtain, I'll come back and be like, yeah, girl, they can unblock. Maybe there's a glitch. It could be. It could be a glitch. It could be they have the ultimate power, or it could be that they have multiple accounts. So check on their profile and see their username. Yes. Yep. That's what I would say. Unblock their profile after they unblock themselves. Laugh out loud. You said I blocked their profile. How? Okay. I blocked their profile. How are they unblocking themselves? Yeah, I'm not sure. Like I said, I really do think it might be another account. Yeah, so I think that's the strategy. Thank you all for my YT who are joining. I am in Florida. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Um, Appreciate you all. Thank you for all the support. I appreciate you all. Let's make sure we stay on topic with the questions. And so we're talking about confident live host setup. So we had a great conversation this morning. Our friend, we had one of our friends in the room. They came up and talked a little bit from a high engager perspective because I want to make sure I say this to y'all. So there's a couple of things. If you are new to going live, thank you all for the butterflies. Thank you so much, Coach Miss Jessie. Thank you so much, Soul. I appreciate you all. I see the gifts coming in. I appreciate all the support for the live. Thank you so much, friends. So we do have the flash goal going in right now. So if you are in the room and you haven't sent your daily heart meet, just know we have 6 more daily heart meets that we're looking to get in the next 12 minutes or so. Is Yes Michelle still mighty for you, YT? She does, but you know what? I think she comes to my 10 o'clock. We talked about this. I got to meet with her again because I was on vacation. So in the month of July, we have not met. So hopefully we'll get a chance to meet before the month is out. We said we're going to try to find a time sometime during the week. But and she's been under the weather a little bit too. Hello, Mimi. How are you? Thank you so much. Five Islands. Appreciate you sharing the live, friend. And so she moderates at the 10 o'clock. She was at the 10 o'clock. I think the 4 o'clock she's not. And what has happened? So we're gonna talk about YT a little bit since that's become a conversation piece. Um, what's happened when it comes to YT is that you guys know I've been co-streaming and stuff, and I've been doing this for quite some time. I think I'm right now hitting. I started in all of April for the most part. It was like the second week of April, April, May, June. So I've done a good 3 solid months because we're like in the first week of July. So I think there's 3 solid months that I've done of co-streaming. Seen a lot of growth, learned a lot from this process. Just so that you guys know, I'll refer to it moving just for this conversation since I'm going to say it so much. I'm going to refer to it as the YT, just so that we know what we're talking about. And so thank you so much. So the YT, there's a couple things I've said in the past about how it operates. It is different. It is a long game. It is a strategy that you might want to consider, especially when it comes to just capturing, if nothing else, your live as a recorded content. So you can record this and have it as a playlist. Okay. There are third party streaming services. You can definitely streamline it. I know there's some other people in the room. Coach Miss Jessie, are you still doing Restream or using some other service? I know there's some other people who will do it from that perspective. I actually am doing it within the app. So I'm literally going into the YT, clicking go live. Okay, so that's what I'm doing. And so it becomes part of their system. Their system, from what hearing talking to Yes Michelle, is a little different than some other streaming services. So she would definitely advocate for maybe a streaming service in the sense of just a little bit more functionality and user friendly features and stuff. I don't know what I don't know, so I'm still using it this way as a beginner, just so I can capture this as a playlist. I have not ventured into fully doing content creation over here, where you do long form videos or take some of these recordings and make that content. I'm just using the playlist as my content at this point. Hey, Dr. Lisa, what's new in the streets? Appreciate your friend coming on in. We are chatting about how to go live in your live host setup, friend, a confident live host setup. Thank you so much. Hello, Principal Martin. How are you, friend? Appreciate you coming over in, friend. Thank you so much for being over here. Um, so thank you so much, Sarah. Appreciate you. So you know what? We're talking really quickly about the YT because I was just sharing a little bit more about it because what has happened. I'm going to say this to you all too. Um, I have in the last, I don't even know if it's 7 days. I'm going to say for the last, we'll say 6 days since I've come back, I've used unique titles for my live stream on the YT and over here. Just making sure I'm scheduling, especially over here, scheduling out my live streams. Those titles, the keywords. So again, think about keywords, especially with the YT being more of a search engine. Okay, those keywords has been really interesting in the last week because it's allowing, I think, more engagement and visibility. You guys have kind of heard me talking a little bit more to the YT side. Today I would randomly battle someone. Today I you said you today you wound up randomly battling someone. How did it go for you, friend? Thank you so much, all who are coming into the room. I appreciate your support. We need 3 more daily heart meets in the next 5 minutes, so we'll see if we can get some friends in. If you haven't sent a daily heart meet, feel free to send it. We won. Oh, that sounds exciting. Appreciate the popular votes, friends. Appreciate you. And so, what I will say is that the YT is owned by Google. We know that it's considered a search engine. So my channel, when I go live, and the reason the way that I've changed up my titles of my live stream topic, I think that has activated and brought more people in. Now, granted, we're in the summer, and so there's probably more people searching, more people who are engaged in the YT as well. 3 more hot me's. Appreciate your friend. And so we are, so we're probably seeing, I'm probably seeing some of that too. And so my channel is becoming a little bit more active and getting some good questions. I actually had someone who scheduled a one-on-one with me from the YT as well this morning. So again, that's positive, but just know when you're over here, it is, it is open season because essentially I am vertical, and when you're vertical, your signal of your live goes out broader than just being horizontal. When you're horizontal, your signal only goes to your subscribers. And because I am trying to grow, thank you so much, friends. You have a title. You have a title on here. Yes, every live you could set up a title. So um, what really? Um, what you mean, Nika? Which one? What really? What's the what really about? Which comment? So title, um, the title when you schedule your live stream, you put a title and a description in, and so that's what I did over here. So all I had to do was press the go live button because it was already set up horizontal versus vertical. Okay, yes. So yes, you said I didn't know that. Explain that again, vertical and horizontal. I was like, wait a minute, girl, you just snuck that in there. Yes, let me explain it. Yes, when we create live events, we create new titles and descriptions. Yes. So you yes, please. Okay. So here's the deal, and you guys kind of go look it up. When you are she sneaks in these nuggets. I do. I'm sorry, y'all. So when you are doing streaming on YouTube, now again, this is in the app. This is YouTube in the app. Now, it could very well be different on the restreams, those other third-party platforms. I'm not sure because I don't engage in that way with those systems. So I'm not sure if there is any kind of what do you call it? Checkbox or any way you can say if you're trying to be vertical or horizontal. But essentially, when you are streaming on YouTube in particular, because TikTok you only can be vertical. So again, your signal is going out vertically, and that's how you can get to the FYP. But a lot of that is managed internally through TikTok. Well, the signal for YouTube is similar in the sense that if you are vertical on a mobile device, so let me just show you guys too physically what I'm talking about. So my screen is vertical. Okay. So if I was to, there's a setting actually that asks the question if you're going to be vertical too, and because I'm on a mobile device, you want the vertical look as opposed to making it turn horizontally. You see how that went funny? Because it's like, no, you're supposed to be vertical, and so that's what it's doing. So it essentially is vertical. Well, my signal will go out vertically to people, and because of that, it is showing. Because of that, it is sending it out wider to a broad group of people out there on YouTube, essentially. Anyone who's searching for that, who's interested in my topic, anyone can come to my page, that type of thing. When you are horizontal, when I turned it horizontal, the signal just goes to your subscribers. And your subscribers can share out your live to get more eyes on your live. But it's essentially, a lot of people don't share out the live the way they do on the TikTok. the way they engage. This is a different, it's a different mindset and, you know, just overall procedural thing that people do when they live stream on YouTube versus TikTok. It is a difference, and so you don't necessarily get that. You have to teach that too. It's easier to share here. Yes, it is, and it's easier for people to share in the sense that that's part of the norm here, as opposed to on the on YouTube. So people don't share unless you really promote that, and maybe some of the bigger streamers probably have it already part of their community, so they people know to share or don't share. Um, so let me say this: we're about to be in the last 30 seconds of the Daily Heart Me. If you have not sent it, we have three more to send. Go ahead and click the Daily Heart Me, send it out so we can. It's the heart plus next to my name. I'll talk about that in a second. If you are new to the room, and you essentially, thank you so much, friend. If you're new to the room and not familiar with the Daily Heart Me, you want to do that so that TikTok. Thank you so much, happy girl. Appreciate you all. We're down to the last 10 seconds. Two more Daily Heart Me's. We'll see if we're able to get it, but that's okay if we're not. So just know that that's something that you want to do when you have the flash goal, because TikTok is more or less seeing if you can meet your goals too. So that's okay. We didn't achieve it, but that is totally fine. Thank you all who supported the live and sent that Daily Heart Me. Okay, so what I will say is, if you are looking two more heart me's, thank you so much, friend. That's okay. That's okay. We will be fine. So thank you all for supporting the live. Appreciate you all tapping the screen, sharing out the live, as well as comments. Okay. So what will happen a lot of times, thank you so much for the join. Appreciate your friends. What will happen a lot of times too with YouTube is that, because what Michelle calls the super highway, you're on the super highway versus being on your, your neighborhood streets by having just your, you say great information. Thank you so much, happy girl Thrift. Thank you so much for being here. And so, because you're on the super highway, you get a lot of people from all over the world. So you get people who are trying to learn English for the first time and they want to hear you talk. So they're just coming in just to listen, just to listen. They see your stream. You seem like a nice, friendly face. They come in. They're trying to listen as well. So there's a lot of that happens. Not to say that it's not happening here, but your stream doesn't necessarily have the same reach until TikTok pushes you out to the FYP, or people again are searching for your topic, or again your supporters, your followers, your friends, those type of people are coming to the live and they see it in their on their notification screen and they click to come into your live. So some of that happens here on the TikTok streets. The YouTube streets, like I said, is different. So again, people will see who's live and then they will come into the live stream that way, and YouTube kind of manages how far your live gets pushed out. So it's important for you, if anything, it's important for you all to pay attention to your titles. Like I said, I use this as a mechanism to save my live streams. Okay, because TikTok gives you the live stream recording, but it's an extra step for me to go download it, then upload it up to the YT, do all the things, as opposed to just pressing here, building up this channel, pressing the YT go live button, building up this channel, encouraging people to like the live, subscribe if you haven't done so already, and then make sure people are commenting and sharing out the live. So I get some of that. Thank you, some of that engagement. Thank you all for being here. Appreciate all the support. Appreciate you all sharing and liking the live. Thank you for the popular votes. We're going to continue to engage everyone. Thank you so much for the live support. And if you are new to the room, let me know you're new so I can talk to you specifically, so I can help give you some tips and strategies to go live as well. So we'll talk through that. And if you are, thank you all for the engagement in the chat too, because that engagement matters, because the chat is chatting, you guys are communicating, so that's important. So when it comes to newbie here, how you doing, friend? Thank you. Oh my gosh, you got a lot of followers. Are you going live? You're at the Rift. Luna, you still in the room? Luna, I don't know if you, I'm matchmaking. So this might be somebody you might want to connect with. She's also into Lux Finds and thrifting and consignments and stuff too. So thank you so much for joining. So when just to recap really quickly, I was given kind of a rundown on YouTube just so that you guys understand, and I'll refer to it as the YT. in terms of how I do co-stream, but I'm doing it intentionally. And so a couple questions came up earlier about my process, but also just thinking strategically about co-streaming here because it is a long game here. My first day in your lives and enjoying learning from you. Thank you so much, Five Island. Appreciate you, friend. Thank you for coming back. Built followers on thrifting for a few years on TikTok. Look at you. What was it? Mainly posting, not new, but still trying to build up the courage to go live. Is it Odell exclusive travel? Friend, you just got to click the go live button. So I was sharing. Okay, we're going to talk about that because the name of this live is Confident Live Host Setup. So we're going to talk about that. I want you to feel confident in terms of making sure that you can go live and build your community. So a lot of times it is just a matter of you telling your story and telling your journey about what you're doing, posting, thrifting videos, etc. So you're not going live then, huh? Okay. Any thoughts on TT changing in September? How you doing, friend Mimi? Um, Thank you so much, friend. No, I haven't watched that. So any thoughts about September? No lives. Okay, we're gonna get you there. We're gonna get you there. September. Here's what I would say about September. So I maybe in the future. Gotcha. Okay. Um, I will say I do think we need to be prepared for a change. What I saw in kind of a couple, a news article, and then obviously hearing other people. Earlier in the week, we had a few people come up on my live and just kind of talk about some of the latest media that had came out when they were talking about the September and a new app, and then the March 2026 date. So I think there's opportunity for us to prepare, and so I'm talking about YT, and I've been doing YT since April. But I think there is something to be said about making sure you have a pivot strategy in place. But also, what I will say is that um, as you are engaging, I want you to continue to build. I don't want you to lose momentum. If there is an option for us to move to a different app, then ideally, and everything's rumor mill at this point, but ideally, if you can continue to have your same followers, continue to build and just transition over, I think that's going to be something you want to continue to do and be able to have that option as opposed to stopping. Okay. So I would say stay the course, continue to build. I'm going to always say there's something really magical happening here in terms of how you can have rapid growth, how you can connect and build a community, how you can monetize in several different ways on this app. And so for that to end, I don't think that's going to happen. I think the powers that be are going to want to make sure that they're able to continue this momentum and not just let it end. So I think if nothing else, um, we'll see. We may have to kind of see our way through a transition, but I don't want you to lose sight and lose and stop the momentum that you have here. But it may be a transition period. I think we need to decide which app that will be. I think we need to decide which app that will be. What do you mean by that? We, as in the collective we? Well, let me know what you meant by that. We, Mimi. Um, I think. What do you mean by the collective we? I will say this though, collectively. Yeah. Yeah. I think. What do you mean by in terms of? Let me get a better sense of what you're saying. What do you mean by deciding? We decide, so we stop participating, we stop engaging, or we continue to put our time and effort into this, and we'll determine what app that'll be. I will say this. I think there's something to be said about not losing sight about what's happening here. There's too much money. I'm going to say that from a TikTok shop perspective. There's too much from the creators that are in here and actively engaging, the affiliate deals, the brand deals that have happened. There's a lot that's going on here. So when people were crying, literal tears last year with the thought of losing this app when it went dark in January, people literally was crying. And so there's a lot of influential people that are like, okay, you know what? We need to figure this thing out. And it just came in cold turkey. So when you think about the administration kicking a can down the road and doing all the things to not just let it go away, they could have easily let it go away. You know how many apps have gone come and gone and went to the wayside? There's something here that they're trying to capitalize on. So for that reason, I would say just be mindful of, okay, how do you stay in it? How do you continue building your channel, your page? And then if you are looking to pivot, you can do it in a very strategic way. Yes, but M is brutal with propaganda. I know, I know, I know. I'm not a fan either. I'm not. I'm not. MJ, yes. MTJ, thank you so much, friend. Yes, yes, I would agree. I would agree. And I think that is the rumor mill, that is what's at play here. Um, I would say though, I would say that this is an opportunity for M, if it is in fact M, to rethink what they did with the FB. Okay, so I don't think and let me say this. I will say how you doing, Miss K? Appreciate you being here. Let me say this because I think what's happened in recent time, even with TikTok with the latest updates and algorithm updates, I think they are trying to clean up their image. I think they are trying to make sure that they're a little bit more focused on high quality content, that they're being a little bit strict about their policy, their community guidelines. And so for that reason, I wouldn't be surprised if that is making sure that they somehow raise the bar a little bit about who's doing content creation, what does content creation look like, and maybe that is influenced by M a little bit, but that's also influenced by some of these brands that they're trying to lure into like TikTok Shop and maybe some of the affiliate deals, and then when you think about TikTok One and those brand deals. So there's some things that they're trying to do just to raise the standards here a little bit. Again, that could be behind the scenes kind of requests from whoever the buyer is going to be. Obviously, only certain people making money and others spinning their wheels. I don't. You know what? I don't know if I agree with that. I think people are going to have to learn how to play the game, and so to your point, you will spin your wheels if you don't understand how to play the game. Okay, so I think a lot of it is going to be based on what are you doing to make sure. Yes. Yeah, so you're going to be spending your split. So here's what I will say. Somebody asked a question earlier, like, do you need an agency? That was kind of a question came up, and I said, well, a agency may be in your best interest because you don't know what you don't know. So if you're a person who's sitting back and you're like, okay, well, I'm just going to do this on my own and do it by myself, and I don't know all the ins and outs, then you're going to be spinning your wheels. That's essentially what's going to happen until you get the hang of it and you watch enough content and digest enough of it and engage enough time, spend enough time here that you understand what are some of the do's and don'ts, but also how to make sure you're building high quality content. So for that reason, you're going to spin your wheels. Yeah, likes to buy but not innovate. So M platforms have stopped growing. That's true. That's true. And I think it's generational too. I'm going to speak to that a little bit because, to your point, not innovate, but also not innovate in the sense that they amassed a lot of followers, a lot of people back 15, 20 years ago, and then realizing that okay, that's the generation that's there because they were part of the onset of social media and supporting and growing and doing content from that perspective, and realizing over time that there was other generations that wanted more from their platforms. And now you're at a TikTok level where they're looking at ways that they can create a monetization stream for the content creator, as well as bring in ad revenue, as well as brand deals. You know what I'm saying? So for that perspective, you're right. You're gonna have to kind of figure out how do you make this an opportunity for people to monetize and monetize well based on the content creation they're doing. But if you're looking at people who are just going to continue to produce content in the same old manner, then that's not going to that can't that's not going to be effective either because you need your content creators to also innovate. Famous and popular influencers with large followers seem to be better with. Um, I think they just been here a while, and so I think it goes back to what I just said. I think they've been here long enough to understand how they need to reinvent themselves too, and then they've kind of amassed enough followers and enough support to understand how to create high quality content. So I think it's a combination. But I think there's room to grow. What I guess I don't want you to get stuck with and saying that I can't grow. There's not a way to do this. It's not a way to be effective. For me, what I will say is I started going live. So this is just my own journey, but I started going live with 1,600 followers in January. So I'm almost at 14,000 and a half or so here in July. So that's growth for me. That's tremendous growth. Now, could it have been even greater growth? Possibly. Somebody probably could have easily said, Dr. Lisa, you know what? You could have had 20,000. You could have 25,000 by now if you would have done XYZ. Possibly. But just know that, growth is relative, and it's a matter of just staying with it, staying consistent, showing up, seeing, your community, engaging with them. So I think that's going to be important to continue to do. But that's what made TikTok stand out. Everyone can excel. Exactly. I still think there's room. M is being sued by Eminem over music copyright. He's heavily favored to win. Wow, I hadn't heard that one. Wow, wow. So yeah, yeah. There's well, I know the music thing here and on the other apps is huge because that copyright stuff is pervasive. And so I told you guys I have a video on my shop page where it has no sound. I still don't know what happened, but just knowing um, that that is something that's happening that can happen. So thank you so much, friends. Appreciate you all joining the live. Appreciate the support. Let me know if you have questions. Make sure you like the live and subscribe as well if you haven't done so. So yeah, copyrighted music is important. It's something that they're all monitoring. We talked about that too in terms of like StreamYard, not StreamYard, Epidemic Sound. There's some others that are out there where if you want, especially for the YT, if you want to make sure your music is not going to have copyright infringement issues and stuff, you want to get those third party sound, those third party music options as opposed to just doing the YT. Now, TikTok, as well as the commercial music, tends to be better. You can click sound, drop down to commercial music, and you might have that option as well. I'm trying to decide what I want my live topic to be. Five Island, how are you, friend? Okay, so here's what I will tell you. It just depends. I mean, when you look at your bio, what is your content based on? Okay, so I would say just make sure whatever you talk about in your live stream aligns with your content as well. And then when it comes to, thank you so much, Bloom, when it comes to thinking very clearly about who you're trying to talk to, who's your audience. That's going to be important. There's a tip I gave, and I don't mind verbally sharing it. I'm probably not going to show it on the computer, but there's a tip I give about going and leveraging like AI, maybe Gemini or ChatGPT or any of the others to do a search for a prompt to have it come up with your topic for your live based on essentially the niche that you're in, the topic, as well as the keywords for your live stream, and then your audience. You want to look at the audience based on the demographic, psychographic, and the pain points of that audience. And if you're being intentional about who you are, who that audience is, you're going to talk to their pain points. You're going to talk to them about things that essentially align with you, but also are going to resonate with them as well. It's all over the place. Oh, you said it's all over the place. Yeah. Again, start with you. Just start with you. Who are you? When I look at your bio, it seems as if you talk about farm wife, so you live on a farm. That's interesting. There's probably a whole community of people who are like interested in either farm living or live on the farm themselves. Okay? It says lake life mom, so I don't know, you got a farm and a lake somewhere. You're a grandma, you're a teacher. And then your name of your live is Five Islands. So somehow some islands are around there too, friend. So so yeah, so I would say start with you, friend. You got a whole lot to talk about. And so just to share that with your community. And I'm sure people who have that interest, they will come in and connect with you. But one of the things I share is that one of the things I share is just really just making sure you hone into your audience and knowing who you're talking to. Because I didn't start knowing I would, okay, because I didn't start knowing I would go be a live host. Okay. Well, you can always change your bio. Your bio is fluid. It can change as you decide to go live more frequently. My bio has changed, I think 3 times now because I had to add my 10 a.m. topic. I wasn't going live at 10 a.m. before. I changed the way I worded my live room, and what my topic is all about. So there's some things I've evolved into. I put the fact that I was a live host. That was a change I had to make. And so, yes, you can always change it. You can always change it. Okay. I'm multi passionate, so I understand. Yes, she is multi passionate. I love that word. We live on Five Island Lake, and I teach. Oh, I love that. So there you go. There's your topic right there. Yeah, just make that part of how you talk about who you are. In terms of being, again, living on a farm. You live on Five Island Lake. I'm assuming that's the name of it. Where's that located? When you said Five Island Lake, what state? I'm assuming that's in the U.S. Unless you're in another part of the world. My bio went through several revisions because I had to niche down. Yes, Iowa. Okay, Iowa. All right. Yes, the Five Island got me. Did it? What you mean, Mr. Arlene? You were intrigued by that? The Five Lake got me? Yeah. So, like I said, you never know. There's people who are like really intrigued by what you're talking about. So just talk about you. What I tell people, if you want to start with you, that's the easiest thing to start with. You essentially, as you think about who you are, what you're all about, when you start with you, you can, you know your background, you know your story, and you're talking on a live stream. You're talking to you because you only see your face, and so you have these comments that pop up. You said, "Show us farm life." There we go. So the audience is speaking to you, friend. So yeah, there. So again, it depends on who's your target audience. And so what I share with you is that I love water. I love that. I love water because I am a fishing woman. There we go. Yeah. So yeah, you can give any tips and strategies. Yes, yes. How you doing, friend? How you doing, Flying Vixen? Thank you so much for being here. Um, and show me the lakes. Somebody said show her the lakes. Miss Darlene said show the lakes. Mimi said show her the farm. You gonna have teachers come in talking about come on and teach me, show me the teachers, the teaching. So yeah, just show you. That's ultimately what you're doing. You're gonna talk about your story and your journey, and maybe that is it when you do your topic. So okay, I'm not giving you the full justice. So there's a couple things I can if you go so really if you go on the link in my bio, one of my products in there is in my stand store is telling you how to use ChatGPT and prompts to go live. So that's part of what you could use something like that. There's about 20 different prompts in there. One of the prompts, and this is what I said earlier, is being very strategic about what you're talking about, who you're talking to, and what you're talking about. And so you want to come up with the lake. The lake has five small islands in it. See, there you go, friend. People want to see that. So oftentimes, when we think about going live, there's a community for us. And your community could be people who are curious about Iowa in the Five Lakes, people who are curious about Iowa in the farm life and living on a farm, people who are curious about you being an educator and a teacher and just your vast experience, depending on what level of what level you taught at. Was it K-12, K-5, you know, college, high school, whatever the case may be. So, or a specific subject matter. So you as a person is multifaceted. And so if you want to hone in on that, you can either be very specific in terms of where you want to focus your time and energy. Again, you heard Bloom say she had to niche down. She decided to do that. Or you might decide to say, okay, here's someone who is now living, the retired life, and this is what I do in my retirement years. And now you're talking about the broad things that make up who you are at this time in your life. So it just depends on what you want to focus your life on. But you can do that. They definitely are into her. She has a lot of followers, so there's an interest in her being her. Exactly. That's it. That's it. I went live for the first time and got two violations, but appealed them. Oh, Crystal, sorry to hear that. What were your violations on? Do you mind sharing so people can see that? What were the violations about? College. Okay, college. Microsoft Office products and QuickBooks Online. Okay, yeah, yeah. So again, people want to see that. Now, what kind of content are you producing? What is your content based on? Is it the farm life, the Five Islands? Are you talking about, your professional experience? Teaching and teaching courses, especially those the computer technology courses. So it just depends on what you're producing content on too. I would tell you to maybe streamline your content again to align with your live stream. And so that way you can focus on what we call content pillars. And so with those content pillars, you kind of identify very specifically the areas that you want to focus on. Maybe there's some how to content where you're teaching and doing some tutorial type stuff. Maybe there's some motivational things that you're telling people, or maybe there's like the day in life type stuff that you're doing. So you just decide on how you want to structure your content. You said, I understand. Yep, yep. So, and then that same model would apply to your live stream. You might do some tutorial stuff, some teaching things that you're doing. You might do a day in a life where you're going around and you're showing people some things that's on your farm. Hey guys, we're gonna go, I don't know, get some chicken eggs, get some eggs from the chicken. So it just depends on what you're doing, and then you can might do a tour of the lakes and stuff. So there's different things you can do. Thank you, Mimi, for sharing. I appreciate you. But I always say, start with you. You laughed at me with the eggs. You're like, oh yeah, maybe we'll do chickens. But yeah, so you might say, Dr. Lisa, I have no chickens. First of all. Um, but yeah, so you would thank you all for the shares. I appreciate you all. Thanks for the support. You would share that with your community just to let them know. Yes, absolutely. People have never seen that content before. Yeah, there are. And to your point, there is okay, there's a couple things you want to keep in mind. There's a community for all of us, okay? So when you think about people who are in the gardening niche, there's a whole community full of gardeners out here and they're wanting to learn from each other and do different things with building their garden, or someone who's a new person who's just starting that approaching how to create a garden and make sure that it's growing and you're being mindful of any kind of pests and other things that will end up impacting your garden. You said sell the eggs. And then there are people who do have farms and who are farmers, and you fall into that niche as well. So you'll see a lot of that type of content that will come to your feed. The thing I will tell you though, if you want to get more eyes and get new followers to your page, it's going to be important for you to also engage with other content and demographics and other live hosts that will draw people to your content as well. So just keep that in mind. That is a strategy. So that content engagement, that engagement in lives is critical so you can build your community. This live is so educational and fun. Thank you. You're welcome, friend. Appreciate you. Appreciate all the support. Urban livers. That sounds like livers. But yes, that's it, friend. The urban life. You said the urban folks. The urban folks need to see the farmers. That's what you're sharing. Yes, the urban livers. Appreciate you, friend. My grandchild from my son and my daughter sell eggs. Look at you. Grandma buys lots of eggs. Okay, look at you. And so do you have chickens? Wait a minute. You're buying eggs. You don't have chickens on the farm? You need to get some chickens. Maybe that's something you show. Like, hey guys, we're gonna get some chickens. And we're gonna have a little chicken hut going on. I didn't look right when I wrote it. You said it didn't look like. Girl, that's exactly how my mind goes too. I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna type this. Hey, urban livers. Thank you so much, friends. Okay, let's see. I got my chat. I want to make sure we stay on topic, friends. Appreciate you all being here. So yes, um, so yes, so setup is going to be important. What I also talk about here is just making sure that as you are going live and you're connecting with your community, we're going to always talk about making sure you understand the context of going live and just the overall community here on TikTok. Y'all laughing. Thank you so much. Um, when we talk about here, so, okay, Five Islands, and anybody else in the room that's new, um, I guess I'm going to ask this question. just to make sure you guys understand, as you go live as a live host, you want to make sure you're all also build a community. We spent a lot of time this morning with our friend Phenomenal Katrina. She came in. She's a blue boxer. So she's a level 31. So the blue box actually is an indicator of your live engagement. That's where you get points that you're collecting specifically for the lives. Now, one thing she shared today, and I was like, you know what, I would love to see the stats on that. And so this is gonna have to be something that I actually start paying attention to, because a lot of her conversation was centered around content engagement and using content to collect points. The bottom up engagement we talked about, and essentially watch time. Watch time is really the main factor. TikTok wants you to watch content. That's essentially what's going to happen. As you watch content and you maybe watch it over and over again, especially if you're engaging from the bottom up, the video's still running, so you're still watching. So that's partially why it's done. But the other thinking is that it's also um, potentially points that you're collecting because you're doing all that engagement. I have not seen that written anywhere. I don't know if it truly exists. It's kind of one of these urban legends until TikTok puts it right in our face and says, here's the point system for content creation and videos versus going live as a viewer. I would love to see that, but I have not seen that. We do know it exists here in this space. It's clear as day. It's in black and white for us. So we do know it does exist from a live stream. Is that what my 17 is for? By my, oh, Island, Five Island. Oh, okay. Let me help you, friend. Let me help you. I'm laughing because I was like, I thought you knew that. But that's right. So you were in my 10 o'clock. We didn't talk about it. Actually, we didn't. And then I typically do talk about the blue box. So let me explain the blue box. We're going to click it. We're going to go through all the things so that you all know. And anybody else who's new in the room, you're welcome to engage in this process too, so you understand it. I teach this because I want you guys to pay attention. When you go live, it is actually going to jump out in your face. You're going to see it because TikTok, we tease and say TikTok's messy. TikTok tells on all of us in terms of our engagement level. But it's important for you to know that so that you can understand exactly what's happening in your live stream. And if you don't have people, first of all, you have people like you, Five Island is like, oh, I didn't even know that's what that number represented. But then you have the ones that are like Phenomenal Katrina is like, I know what that number represents. And then you have everybody in between that get it, but they're still growing and engaging. And then there's some people who don't engage at all and don't have a blue box at all and don't really understand all the things they need to do to level up and monetize. So we were talking earlier about the whole monetization and the ways you can engage here and how things are a little different here on TikTok, very different from the YT. But it's important for you all to do that engagement so that you can grow and build. Okay? So, here's what I'm going to tell you. If you click your blue box, so here's how you're going to click your blue box. Anybody who's in the room who wants to do this, put the word hi, H-I, into the chat. We're going to talk about the blue box. Recognizing that there's multiple ways to get points. You're getting points for your engagement. The main way to get points is by gifting. Gifting is the element, is a big piece of it, the main piece of it. How you doing, Virginia? Thank you so much, my friends who are joining a live, putting the word hi. So after you click it, I'm going. You said, I'm so glad to be in your room. Thank you so much, friend. So once you put your word in, I want you to click your photo because your photo, your word and your photo popped up. So I want you to click your photo. Once you click your photo, you'll see your mini profile is going to pop up. Once you click your mini, in your mini profile is your blue box level. So level 10 for you, Nicole. My friend Odell, you are a level 7. It's grayed out. I'm going to explain that in a second. My friend, Island, Five Island is 17, and Virginia, you're 17 as well. So if you click that 17, 12, the 7, all those, whatever your number is, click your level. Once you click your level, you then will see a blue screen pop up. A blue screen is going to pop up. How you doing, D? That blue screen is a breakdown of your engagement level. So what you're going to see is the points that you've collected already, okay, to get to that engagement level. There's a / symbol. It's going to tell you the total amount of points you need to get to the next level, level 13 or level 18, whatever the level is. And then underneath there is those experience points. Pay attention to those points. Those are the points that you want to look at because you're trying to reduce those points. That's the difference between what you got and what you need. And those are the experience points that you're trying to collect so that you can level up essentially. Okay? There's a question mark way up in the right corner. If you click that question mark, it gives you it gives you a breakdown. It gives you a whole breakdown of what needs to happen. Okay? And so just understanding that from an engagement perspective is going to be important. So, my friend who's grayed out, when you're grayed out, that means that you have not been engaging in a couple different ways. Like I said, TikTok is messy and they tell on you. But what it means is that essentially for the last 7 days, you have either not come to a live, so TikTok more or less you know, paused your blue box activity. So you're not an active person right now. So you're on pause essentially. And so you're grayed out. So to reactivate, so essentially they didn't take it away, they just need you to reactivate. So to reactivate means that you have to send a gift. To send a gift, you gotta have coins on your account. So my people who are new that don't have boxes at all means that they never put coins on their account. Now, some people don't want to put coins on an account. That's just their prerogative. What I will tell those people is that you're taking the longer path forward. Okay? You might be doing content creation. You might be, engaging with other people's content, but it's just going to take a longer path for you to maybe have some exponential growth. So there's just something to think about. What if you're broke? You might be broke, okay, friend? Hey, you very well may be. I'm not in your pockets like that. You very well may be. That may be your rationale. My point is you can engage in other ways. Not to say that you have to send a gift, but my point is it's just something that you might want to consider as you were thinking about growing in your strategy. So, um, some of the things you want to do, I tell people all the time, watchers matter to your live. You want people to watch and engage in your live. Watch your live. That's great. If you, from a viewer perspective, I tell you all the time, it's what you put in is what you get out. And so if you are not commenting, if you're not liking the live, because right now we're at 26.5K likes. If you're not liking the live, if you are not engaging, maybe from getting the daily heart meet or gifting, you need coins on your account to do that. If you're not sharing out the live, thank you for sharing out the live. Then those type of things will keep you from not maximizing in terms of growth in your points. It also doesn't allow people to see you're in the room and engaging back with you. Let's just be real. This is all about how do you build your community. And so you want to make sure you're engaging back with people. Okay? So that's what this is all about. So I'll show you really quickly. The people who are here sitting up in these top two spots, these are your high engagers. If you click the number of people in the room right now, and I always point this out because I want you all, again, I'm teaching you from the perspective of a live host. So if you click how many people are in the room, it shows a question mark in that top corner. Okay? So I want you guys to see that. It shows that question mark. That question mark is actually is telling you very clearly how to become a top viewer, and it's by liking the live. If you like the live, um, and that's the taps on the screen. Thank you so much, Mimi. If you like the live, appreciate your friend. That will get you 3 points for every 10 minutes of liking the live. So just know that that's part of the strategy. If you are, let's see, hold on one second. If you are also commenting, thank you so much, Mimi. Appreciate your friend. Appreciate all the support. If you are commenting, those comments also get you 3 points for every 10 minutes of comments. If you are sharing a live out, if you got the daily heartbeat, it says it'll give you, I think it's 15 points for sharing out the live. If you are gifting, you get a point for every coin you spend. Okay? So again, when we talk about leveling up, if you're spending and sending gifts, so we're going to say this. Our friend Mimi, I'm going to assume, and I can't see what your points are, but Mimi probably looked at her points and was like, wait a minute, I can level up or almost close to leveling up if I just support the live host a little bit. And so She did that in a very strategic way. She may not level up in this live, but she probably reduced her points down to the point where maybe in the next live or some other time she's going to level up and get to the next level. So that becomes part of a strategy. Look at your friend Odell. You said, let me reactivate my blue box. I appreciate that, friend. So let me keep commenting. There we go. That's it. That's it. So all that matters. I leveled up when I got into your live. Did you really? Congratulations. Congratulations. I missed it. I missed it. Sometimes TikTok, I don't know if I get notified all the time when you level. Do I? Let me know if y'all. I sometimes it might be me. I might be missing it. That may be a Dr. Lisa problem. That I missed it. Sitting around chatting too much. But yes, so just know that that's a thing. How you doing, Per Mom? Thank you so much. I enjoy engaging with others. There we go, D. So that engagement matters. So let me talk through that real quick because I want to make sure as you guys are building your community, your lives, you want engagement. You want people. Thank you so much for the shares. You want people to start seeing each other and connecting. That's again how you grow. So you want to click somebody's profile, send a comment to them, and maybe follow them back. Send a comment like, hello, nice to meet you, nice to connect with you, nice to be, in this community with you, or something like that. Try to avoid the words like scooped and gotcha and followed, all those things, because those words are typically blocked words that TikTok will have. So especially in rooms where there's a lot of engagement happening, people are doing that all the time. They end up becoming block words. So just kind of keep that in mind. That can happen to you, and so people don't get your message, and so you are essentially filtered constantly. So just keep that in mind. That can happen to you. Um, Also, you want to make sure in those particular rooms where the chat is chatting, the room is rooming, and your comments are not necessarily coming through the same way. How you doing, Vibe Wellness Woman? You'll see you'll see where people will send smaller gifts and they'll hang higher. So our friend, Phenomenal Katrina, she shared that from a level 31 or that was able to say, okay, here's a strategy. I don't. She doesn't necessarily send roses. She send the popular votes because she can be seen a little bit more. And so that's part of her battle strategy, but also just her overall engagement strategy. Thank you all coming into the room. I appreciate you all. Thank you so much. You said, oh wow, I didn't know that. What didn't you? Sorry, I got a call that came in. Oh, sorry that I think um, I missed the comment. That call came in. D's Beauty, what didn't you know, friend? Let me know what I said. I might need to repeat it, huh? And so, and just really quickly, let me say hello, everyone. How you doing, friend? And so, let me just say this out loud too. As you become a high engager, level 25 and above, they fly in at the top. Okay, in that blue box. Just wanted to give y'all kind of the tea on that. So if you're ever wondering, look at you, level 5. I appreciate your friend. The orange heart and what our friend Virginia just did is based on the daily heart me. And so as you're engaging and you're able to level up, you can send a level up cake. The orange heart is for this live. And then when you go to other people's lives, you can do similar daily heart me in our engagement. So that becomes part of your engagement strategy for those live rooms. Um, and so just know that that's intentional. You want to make sure that if you have a live host, if you have someone you're really enjoying their content, again, I tell you all the time, if it is something that's going to help you grow, but also maybe you're building community and you're engaging, you want to make sure you're clicking that daily heart me and getting points that way. And so I always tell people click the daily heart me and read what's in there so you understand how to engage. And Phenomenal Katrina, she said it also. She said that was part of her strategy too. Coming back to the lives, those daily heart me's, that was getting her points, and she was leveling up that way too. So I think she had come to my room. She said she was at day 76, 77, something like that. So she's been coming back, and she's getting her points. Y'all okay? You were talking about engagement and not saying gotcha. Yes, 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 yes. Yeah, you want to be careful with those words you use in those rooms. Yeah, that is. I know it's you get caught up and everybody else is doing it. You do something different on purpose actually. So part of it is your strategy to stand out. I'm going to say that. And then part of it is also just not getting caught up into, again, TikTok filtering some of those comments. So some of your comments can get filtered because it's overused. Okay. So just be careful with those rooms a little bit. How you doing, Ruth? Appreciate your friend coming in. Let me know. I'm gonna stay live probably for another 15 minutes or so. Yeah, this is kind of my long day, y'all. This is kind of my long day because Thursday, Friday, and Saturday I go live for my shop page. It's Dr. Lisa Shops. So I go over there and I go live. And because I'm going live over there, I end up staying over there. I go live at 8:30 Eastern, and I'm going to talk about health and wellness. I have some different products too that are under the health and wellness niche, and then I also talk about. I'll probably showcase a couple tech products too. How do you do it? You said, how do you do it? You know what? How do I do what? Just do all of it? Is that what you're saying? Well, you know what? I'm a full time content creator, live host. That's what I'm doing full time. And I literally just left my 9 to 5 in May officially. Host for so long. Host for so long. Oh, you're talking about my time? Um, yeah, I've been live here. Let's see real quick. It says an hour and 11 minutes. So what I'll end up doing just to make it fair to myself and timing of TikTok, I'll probably do 90 minutes. So it'll be an hour and a half by the time I get off. So 20 more minutes I'll stay on. What I will say is that, good morning, how you doing, Season? What I will say is that I do, how do I do it? How do I do it? When you start going live, you end up just talking. To be honest with you, you talk so much and different things come up and questions. The engagement matters, you all. So you guys asking questions, you guys engaging back, all that. How you doing, Urban? Thank you so much, Five Island. And that helps to activate the live, but it also helps me to have different talking points. So you guys ask questions, and then I just kind of go down this path, or you ask a different question, I go down this path. Now, obviously, I have somewhat of an agenda when it comes to my 4 o'clock being mindset, helping to encourage my new people, answering questions to kind of get you to think about your life journey. So that's part of it. My 10 o'clock is more strategic, and so it's more strategy in the sense that we're talking about monetization, we're talking about some tactical things. A lot of people will come back to the 10 o'clock that maybe are not as nervous and scared to press the go live button, but they're now thinking about how do they have a growth strategy. And then just as a quick caveat, a, a caveat that's aligned to the topic. I did launch coaching services. So I offer two packages. One is 4 weeks, one is 8 weeks to help people understand the live strategy. If you're looking to go live, and then have other services in a digital offering that you're going to provide to your audience. Or you just need to understand how do you monetize in different ways. That's maybe a 4 week package. So just understanding how you can get additional coaching support. And we said it a long time ago, you don't know what you don't know. And so there's a lot of people who will spend multiple months and weeks on end spinning their wheels because they don't understand all that goes into this digital marketing business model. That's essentially what it is. So I just want to make sure I'm supporting people. So I have a one-on-one with somebody today at 7 o'clock. So that's something that came from the YouTube community. And then I meet with a lot of you all. And then, like I said, I just launched those coaching packages too. Thank you so much for the shares, friends. I appreciate you all. And then I also have consultations that you can do. Um, but a big piece of how do I do it all is that as you start talking, thank you so much, friends. A big piece of this is just making sure you show up. You show up. You just be consistent. That was the biggest thing. I started in January. I started going every day. You said that's great. Yep. Started going every day in January. And then I was like, you know what? I like it. I'm going to continue to do it. And so then February, I started the tour days. I did the 10 o'clock. So I was going every day at 4 p.m. every day this time here. And, throughout that month, throughout those first 30 days, I kind of learned a lot. I learned maybe I was introduced to the trolls that would come in and be rude and nasty and say comments that they shouldn't say. So I dealt with that. I dealt with just understanding the mechanics of going live, what to say, what not to say, how to engage, how to facilitate and support people and their strategies and helping them understand to go live. End up really what happened was that I started talking about my process so much. People kept coming back asking more questions because I recognized I was new, but there were people who were newer than me. You know what I'm saying? So you're not just the only person who's a newbie. There are people who are going to be newer than you. Thank you so much, Odell. Appreciate you. You said, I think consistency is one of those most important things here, at least for me. Yes. And so, again, in the beginning of my live process, I talked about that all the time. I said, consistency and engagement are the keys. And I still stand by that. Consistency and engagement. And so you might get to the point where, again, when it comes to consistency, how do you show up same time, same day, supporting your community? Okay. How do you engage both in this space and even beyond in the content? How do you create content? So, what I've been trying to do is do a little bit more engagement, in this month of July, just so that I can stay on task and stay focused. Because that's going to be important. That's going to help with building your community, building your room, getting people to engage back, getting people to show up and support you. So I've been doing a lot of that engagement, and you're riding that up and down wave of TikTok. So there's some things I've seen happen. There's some things I've seen, in terms of how the algorithm will change and shift, and that will shift and change how you're supported and seen in this space. But you keep showing up. I'm not giving up yet. I'm not. Okay. So I'm not ready to. And at the end of the day, I become accustomed to doing this so much that I really enjoy it too. So, but showing up. So January I showed up. February I added the 2 a days, and so 10 and 4. Recognizing that what I know I wanted to talk about wasn't always an option at the 4 o'clock, because the 4 o'clock was a lot of people who were stuck with the mindset that they couldn't do this, that they were still trying to make sense of if this is something they can even do. So there was a barrier to a certain extent that I had to kind of break through. And then when it came to the 10 o'clock, I was like, okay, let me talk to people who have already gotten over the fear of pressing go live. But now they're like, okay, wait a minute, I want to talk about making money, y'all. How do you do that? That's what I want to do. And so let's see. We need your great information. Thanks for showing up. I appreciate you, Nicole. Yes, thank you so much for that. And so that's what this became about. How you doing, Trisha? I see you, friend. Thank you for that daily heart me. Um, and so that became a big part of the conversation, because it was a lot of people who were like, okay, I'm nervous, I'm scared, I'm afraid, I can't do this. And so that was my 4 o'clock. It was mindset, 100% mindset. And then you get to the people who, okay, I want to do this, but I want to be strategic about how I do it. What's my growth strategy? How do I engage fully? Some of what I find challenges is finding consistent time to go live. Yes. You know, I I would say you got to start with you. I know it's hard when I know it's easy to say, okay, when are people going to be on the live? When do I want to do it? What does TikTok tell me? I would say that data is helpful because it's there for you. There's some analytics that are in the live center that will show when your viewers, when your followers essentially are on the app and they're live, and it's pretty accurate. However, your followers are going to grow. That's going to evolve and change as you go live more consistently. You're going to bring on more people, and when you think about how their interests in the topics and stuff that you're sharing may shift a little bit from them, you'll get some loyal people, but that's going to evolve in terms of who are people showing up for you constantly, day in, day out. So that will evolve a little bit. And so just recognize that the key factor is starting with you. Okay, it's starting with you. So just know that if you can show up in a day and time where it's almost like a television show, you have your favorite show. Now this probably might be an old school mentality, because I know we now can stream on demand whenever we want to, y'all. But if you have your favorite show, you looked for that favorite show because you knew what day and time it was coming on, and you became a loyal person, viewer, a fan of that show, because you knew that show was going to come on every or whatever day and time of the week. Now, again, that comes with you showing up and being consistent in that way too. You said yes. um, and so making dinner, listening and learning. Thank you so much, friend. Yeah, great analogy. Yeah, yeah. But my other analogy, I like this analogy better because I like the restaurant. I like to go eat. Okay, y'all. And so If you really think about a restaurant, if you went to a restaurant, love the food, love the ambiance, love the wait staff, love everything about the place, but every time you tried to go there, they were closed. You could never get the food. You would stop going. I mean, that's just the reality of it. You would find another restaurant. You would say, okay, I like their food. I wish their food is so much better than the people down the road, but I'm gonna go over there because they're open. I'm gonna go eat over there. And the same thing that y'all do to me, I'm joking about this, but y'all do that to me when I go on my vacations. Y'all end up going to these other live rooms and eating there, and you have to come back and tell me. But just know that's how it is. People will change and people will shift and see other things. So just know if you're not consistent, they're not going to be consistent. You're not going to build a loyal following. They're too young to know about waiting on time for your show. Come on. He said some people can't relate to that analogy, Dr. Lee. So I just dated myself with that one. Y'all like, wait a minute, I don't know what you mean. I gotta wait for a show. I ain't gotta just click Netflix, Hulu, something. These are the good old days. I love it. He said I would be mad too. Yes, yes. So you gotta realize that the consistency starts with you. Always starts with you. It has to start with you. Um, and so you got to show up. You got to pick a date and time. Now people will say, because here's what happens with the algorithm. I'm gonna tell you right now. Whatever you're doing in the app and outside the app is what you're gonna see. Okay, your friends and followers. You're gonna see that on that screen, on your inbox screen. You're gonna see who's going live. Okay. Thank you so much, me. I see those love stickers coming out. Appreciate your friend. Um, and so when you said do it scared. There we go, friend. So when you are seeing all your favorite live hosts go live at the same time you're going live, you're picking to go live. Or if you're seeing, some of your followers, some of your friends going live at the same time, you're trying to select to go live. That is a little discouraging and intimidating. But I will tell you, don't get caught up into how the algorithm is focusing your content and what you're seeing, because there's over a billion people all around the world on this app. And if you just think about the US, there's like 170 million people on this app. And so just recognizing that you're just seeing a small little piece. I was going to say percentage, but it ain't even a percentage. It's like a little piece of what's happening. And it can expand for you. If I thought back in January that, oh, I had to kind of do everything for those initial 1,600 followers, then I probably would have never grown to the now the 14,000 that are part of my follower account. You know what I'm saying? So just recognizing that you're going to grow, things are going to evolve, and if you show up and just stay consistent, you'll see that growth happen. Okay? So just stay focused. The first thing has to be you though. And if you could find 30 minutes, I would tell you just in terms of just an approach to take, you don't have to do 7 days of the week. I would encourage you to do 7 days of the week if you want to see some growth to happen for you. But you don't have to. Maybe you do three. I would start with three. Definitely not one or two. I would think I would try to find 3 days a week that you can go live on a weekly basis. Start there and then see if you can add maybe a fourth day. Four to five is probably a good round way of operating. Okay. If you can't do seven. Now I show up every day of the week. I do it, and I'm touring around. I'm kind of trying to see what happens in this month of July, to see what changes happen in terms of some things that I'm trying to do. But I'm going to continue with the 10 and the 4 for this time frame. I may shift and just do one of those time slots a day and then add more shop. So my thinking is that I may, how you doing, Alex and Happy? Um, my thinking is that maybe I try to add another shop, morning shop time frame or something like that. So I'm trying to decide. I'm going to see how the algorithm works and just some things that pan out over the next few weeks. Seven is best. If someone is on every day, you're going to add it to your schedule, whether rather than forget. I love that. Tap tap tap. Do daily heartbeat comments to help hit FYP. Look at you, Alex. Thank you so much. How you doing, Tiffany? Appreciate you coming in, friend. And so yes, where do you make the most income? Where do you make the most income? What you mean, friend? In terms of what? In terms of you want me to answer that question for real? For real? Where do you make the most income? What do you mean by that? Let me make sure I answer that from a context question. You're talking about TikTok versus YT. You're talking about living live selling items sales. You're the first person who ever asked me that question. But sales. Yeah. So here's what I and that's essentially sales. Yeah, absolutely sales. Yeah. So if you're here, the live is a piece of it. Don't get me wrong. It is good in the sense of making passive income, but it is sales. It is. It's going to always be sales. So I was in a live. It's funny because the person I told you guys was really rude a couple weeks ago. I always have the good questions. You do. That was a good question. I don't know you, but good question.